Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day. One could watch this and think that you really hate Sean Combs.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time.
Actually, Janice Combs, how you feel about her? I mean, they alleging that she was, having freak-offs.
I spoke to a man, Mr. Brown, who used to go to the freak-offs. And he knew Miss Combs and he knew about her and her freak-offs and everything like that. We had always thought that she had a modeling agency, but it wasn't a modeling agency. It was more a brothel that she ran for high-profile drug dealers.
50 Cent has stirred major buzz online by confirming that Season 2 of his no-holds-barred Diddy documentary, The Reckoning, is officially underway. This time, the spotlight shifts to Janice Combs, the strategic force behind Diddy's rise and the quiet influence that helped shape Bad Boy Entertainment. Sources say that major streaming platforms avoided including key material in the first release. But now 50 Cent is moving forward independently and without hesitation. He plans to release this new chapter directly on YouTube, promising a raw, never-before-seen perspective and making it clear that he is no longer holding back.
Yeah, my mom's gorgeous. Hold on, let me introduce you to my mom, called Ma Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Ma?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
The story begins with Diddy's early years, as the documentary shows how loss and discipline shaped who he would become. A close family associate recalls the death of his father, a respected figure in Harlem, who was killed when Diddy was still a child. This tragedy forced his mother, Janice, to take on a strong leadership role at home. Over time, their house became a gathering place for influential people, placing Diddy close to ambition, authority, and image from a very young age. Those surroundings left a lasting impact, and throughout the neighborhood, it was widely believed that something important and powerful was being formed behind those walls.
The mom, she came out defending her son, man. How you feel about that? She made a comment saying that he's not a monster.
I guess this is my newfound career, so I'm gonna say what on my mind and what I think, brother. First of all, that's his mother. Wrong, right, or indifferent, she gonna lie, steal, kill, and protect her child. That's what she's supposed to do. But the apple don't fall far from the tree, man. You got to realize that. You know, he didn't get all this from his daddy because he didn't know his daddy, even though they try to say his daddy was some big time drug dealer in the whole 9 yards. You understand? He didn't get this from his daddy. You got to realize, man, you know, his mother had a modeling agency, and it was alleged that it was also Ladies of the Night, a
From the start, Janice was motivated by strong ambition and a clear desire for influence, carefully aligning herself with a powerful figure in Harlem to secure her position. After Diddy's father passed away, her focus grew even stronger, and she began shaping her son as both a symbol and a path toward greater success. The documentary explains that, according to Patterson, their living room often became an informal stage where Diddy and others were encouraged to perform, move, and command attention while adults watched with approval. In those early moments, Diddy learned important lessons about visibility, presence, and control, how influence is built under watchful eyes, quietly setting the foundation for the powerful figure he would later become.
I said Diddy mother might be the originator of the freak-offs. All right, so tomorrow Peacock is dropping. According to the Rolling Stone, the doc features an alleged childhood friend of Puff's, hip-hop producer Tim Dog Patterson. He alleged that Janice, Diddy's mom, would often throw parties at Diddy's childhood home. He says that during the parties, it wasn't uncommon to walk into rooms where adults was having sex. I mean, that was just their normal. And the doc, when talking about the parties, Tim says, verbatim, That's what we were privy to. This was what we were fed.
A more troubling side of Diddy's childhood comes into view as people close to the family describe how deliberate and calculated his mother's influence was. Longtime insiders say the relationship between Diddy and Janice often made others uncomfortable, suggesting a focused effort to shape how he understood attention, validation, and authority from a very young age. These were not random moments or casual lessons. They were structured and repeatedly reinforced over time, shaping his ideas of power and leadership long before fame or success arrived. This early conditioning quietly laid the groundwork for the dominant presence that would later define his rise in the music industry.
Man was talking about that his mother could take her palms and bend over and put them down on the floor. Not bend over, but she could stand straight up and put her palms on the floor, bruh. He's saying that about his mother. Who describes any of their mother action like that in a sexual way? And then, you know, I don't know how many dudes do kiss their mother in their mouth when they 50, 60 years old or something like that. That's them, that's their whole thing, man. But that was a little kind of weird for me. And then his mother wore the same white fingernail polish that Cassie described that he liked to see her and other models in when she was describing her lawsuit. And what's crazy to me is that, man, it seemed like him and his mother had this, I don't want to get too deep, man, this Oedipus.
The behaviors shaped during Diddy's early years later showed up in the world he built as an adult, with his high-profile gatherings reflecting the same environments he grew up in. Janice was never absent from these spaces. She stayed informed, alert, and, according to several eyewitnesses, was physically present at many events, quietly watching and influencing things from behind the scenes. Her ongoing involvement highlighted the path she set long ago, reinforcing the idea that her influence was not temporary but deeply woven into the persona and power structure Diddy eventually came to represent.
Why you believe she knew about the freakos?
Because one of the witnesses said she was there. And do you remember this, bro? Check it out. People tell off on themselves so much, man, and I don't understand when people don't catch it. Diddy has said this. He said, when I give a party, I have to have an ambulance outside of the house. Paramedics ready. That people have to take IVs. Remember the time that him and his mama kissed each other on the lips?
Yeah, I remember that video.
Do you remember that both of them was getting an IV at the same time?
Yeah, I did notice that, yep.
That's from the Diddy freak off party. And I'm gonna say allegedly.
So let me ask you this. You knowing her at one point, you knowing her personally, is she the kind of person that, you know, will be a part of a freak off or no?
I think that she liked to party and she partied with young people. She's always been like that. She always copied or emulated Little Kim and Mary J. Blige. Or they emulated her. The blonde hair, the nails, the high boots, the age-appropriate, inappropriate.
Gene Deal later shared that he always felt something was off about the unusually close bond between Diddy and his mother, especially after his father's death, when Janice pushed him into a leadership role much earlier than most could handle. That sudden change brought heavy pressure and responsibility, turning their relationship into one defined by growing control and supervision. Janice remained deeply involved in both Diddy's private and public life, closely watching the people around him, guiding his direction, and quietly influencing the routines and decisions that shaped his rise, making her role an undeniable force behind the path he ultimately followed.
Relationship, whether it's physical or mental, with a mother and a son. So I'm looking at his mother and him on the couch, and both of them are getting IVs after one of the Diddy parties. Allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly because I wasn't there and I didn't know, but they showed them both getting IVs on the couch. So my whole thing about this thing is that I'm not saying that she was ever at a freak off, she was ever at that type of party, but you can't tell me Miss Janice Combs, who was always at the regular parties, didn't know nothing about the freak-off parties.
Allegedly, Cassie also spoke about disturbing dynamics within the household, offering insight into how far Janice's influence reached. According to these accounts, her involvement extended into nearly every part of Diddy's life, including strict family routines and unusual traditions that often surprised outsiders. People familiar with the environment described it as tightly controlled, highly structured, and impossible to ignore, leaving a lasting impression on anyone who experienced it. They believe this atmosphere played a major role in shaping Diddy's mindset and behavior in ways that few people outside the inner circle could fully understand.
Into his mother. Can you see that? Like,
yeah, with the blonde hair and yeah, and all of that. I mean, somebody
really
asked a question, what kind of man puts his hands on his mother? The same kind of man that parties with his mom, the same kind of man who kisses his mom in the mouth, the same kind of man who seems to have accurate knowledge that his elderly mother can put both of her hands, her palms on the floor while she's standing up, bent over.
Oh damn, I ain't seen that one.
You never seen the Instagram video where he was talking about how his mom is still young and spry and how she still liked the party and how they was getting a IV drip?
Oh. Damn.
And she was kissing him in the mouth on the video and he was like, yeah, my mom can bend over and touch the floor with her palms.
No.
It's a very, very, very weird relationship. It's weird.
From the start, Diddy's childhood was far from ordinary, shaped by constant activity, layers of influence, and an environment rooted in authority. Allegedly, even at a young age, Janice closely managed a tightly controlled social circle from their home, with a steady flow of people operating under her direction, something many people knew about but rarely discussed. Growing up in that setting, Diddy learned early how control is exercised, how structure is enforced, and how power works quietly behind the scenes. Those formative years left a deep and lasting impression, subtly sharpening the presence, discipline, and strategic instincts that would later drive his rise in the music industry.
How you feel about, her? I mean, they alleging that she was, having freak-offs.
I spoke to a man, Mr. Brown, who used to go to the freak-offs. And this guy lives in Georgia right now. And he told me that he was a stick-up kid back in the day. And one time he had robbed one of their spots. And he went back and he had got the money and gave them their money back and everything like that. And he knew Miss Combs and he knew about her and her freak-offs and everything like that. We had always thought that she had a modeling agency, but it wasn't a modeling agency. It was more of a brothel that she ran for high-profile drug dealers and athletes. You could tell by I could tell that Miss Combs at the time, and actually saw her, like young guys. She came at me a couple of times back in my heyday, before the extra 75 pounds back then. And the reason I left Bad Boy wasn't only because of her advances, it was because I got tired of a lot of the bullshit.
In the end, These hidden layers of Diddy's past paint a powerful and unsettling picture of how influence, control, and ambition shaped the man behind the empire. As more stories come to light, the line between strategy and conditioning becomes harder to ignore. If you want to stay updated on the full story and what unfolds next, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. The truth is still unfolding, and this is only the beginning.